Baruch Hashem, so we just had a little Yeshua personal, in the matter of learning and doing the right thing. Everything comes together. It's the end of the year. This is the last time between Mincha Mara for Tafshin Pei Dalet. End of year learning and end of year Mincha, end of year Marav. Tomorrow is the last Shachris, special Slichas, early in the morning. And then we get ready for Zisa Yom Tov Rosh Hashana Ba'aleinu L'Tova. We're just talking about my son, dedicate to all the soldiers in Lebanon. You can't say much more. The army itself has asked us not to discuss or mufasem. The truth is, my son kept everything pretty much to himself. He told us a little bit, maybe, that I'm not going to say, just in case, but basically it's stuff that it's all happening now in the war there. And they should have Shmer Leona. Someone else just told me that his son's being called back up north. They just messaged me now. So it's happening to a lot of people. Hashem should be for good news only. And we're learning also in the schus that we should be gemencht all Klaisov and the humanity. We're going to see that the learning is very much connected to the whole voda of Rosh Hashana, which is to crown the king. One of the ways we crown the king is by bringing Moshiach. There's no bigger way, in a way. There's a Rav Moshe Wilson, Zatzal, who used to always say this over every year, or around this time, when you're leading up to the Parshas of, they lead us up to Rosh Hashana, or Rosh Tevis in the word Shem Malas Mamakim, Karasicha Hashem. We're going to see in a minute that there's 3 mitzvahs that we have to do in Eretz Yisrael to bring Mashiach. One of them is Mikdash, build a Mikdash. So that's brought, he brings that remembers on Parshas Kisava. Then there's Mechias Amalek, which is Parshas Kiseise. And then get rid of Amalek, kill, destroy Amalek, which we'll discuss in a minute. And then there's also the mitzvah Kibbutz Goliath, which is Nitzavim, we just had last week. This Parsha. So we have all these Parshas. But the Rosh Tevis for all these mitzvahs is Memakim, from the depths. She'amalas Memakim. When do we say this? Rosh Hashana Shachris. At the beginning of the Sarah you make tshuva, and every day from then on we say She'amalas before we finish Bazooka de Zimra and go to Baruch and Kaddish and Baruch. We say Memakim from the depths. So we want Mashiach to come. We have to really dig deep, more panemius, more inner, from inside. It's not going to come. Mashiach's not going to come from politics or whatever. It's going to come from an inner truth, an inner cry from the Jewish people, from Bnei Yisrael. So he says here, we're learning Zer Sha'amu Chachmeinu Zechanu Lebach Sholas Mitzvah Stavi Yisrael V'Kninyasan La'aretz. Yeah, you got that? 3 mitzvahs. When I enter the land of Eretz Yisrael, Amda Amalek, you have to establish a king. Increases Zara Shal Amalek, we have to destroy the seed of Amalek. Vinyam Beis Hamikdash. See? I missed out one. That was Pasha Shoftim. Yeah, so the Kibbutz Goliath is not one of the 3 mitzvahs. I mean, that's because we're already here. That's already assumed in the beginning of the concept. That we're all entering Eretz Yisrael, that's already assumed. So we have to make sure I didn't mention Mashiach, so I suppose that was the Melech, Mashiach, the king. But the idea, that's Pasha Shoftim. That's the 4 Pashas that lead up to Rosh Hashana are Merames on the Gilui of what we're trying to do on Rosh Hashana's Gematria Beis Hamikdash. We're trying to reveal the Beis Hamikdash. We're trying to reveal Hashem's Malchus in the world, the kingship of Hashem. And this is how we do it. When all of Am Yisrael enter Eretz Yisrael, we establish a king, we destroy the seed of Amalek, and we build the Beis Hamikdash. Vaha Baha Talia, and each one's Talia on the other. Kiamda Melech hi bechinas Emuna. Canal. We've been learning this whole Torah in Torah Melamed Hey, Sifches, where we're holding right now. We've been learning again and again about the concept of Emuna. He's now adding a new concept, these 3 mitzvahs of Eretz Yisrael, of entering Eretz Yisrael, to establish a king. This is the aspect of Emuna. If you look at the davening, by the way, Rosh Hashana, you'll see, not just in Shir Malas, you'll see the whole davening, especially in Musaf, you'll see it's all about this. Malchus, Zechronis, Shofis, it's all about Mamlech Hashem. All the Pesukim of Mashiach Dik. It's all about what's going to be and what we're trying to do in this world. Our tachlis, our purpose. It's all connected to emes, to truth. And it's establishing a clarity for our people and what we're here for. increases Zarish Amalek, and we have to destroy the seed of Amalek. How do we elevate all the sparks that are amongst all the nations? We have to destroy Amalek, which is what we're doing right now. How do we release all these sparks out there? By us destroying Amalek, you see there's a biro going on. I remember there was a Rav, Uman used to explain this. So before Moshiach comes, there's going to be a massive biro, massive clarification of who's good and who isn't. Who's on the side of Am Yisrael and who's on the side of, God forbid, of Amalek, of these terrorists or whatever. And we're seeing it happening in front of our eyes. Mm-hmm. There's two fish. One's going upstream to the pure waters. The other one's going down to destruction, to nothing, to just emptiness. And that's. We're talking about this part. We already got it. We got the Sefer. So we're getting to this point of the Torah. We're just going to summarize for our holy brother, Yossi, the idea that 3 mitzvahs when we enter Eretz Yisrael. We enter with 3 mitzvahs. So one of the mitzvahs already is kibbutz golius. That's already implied. We're all coming to Eretz Yisrael. But then there's 3 mitzvahs we have to do. Establish a king, get rid of the seed of Amalek, and build a Beit Hamikdash. We said these four, there's really 4, because it's also kibbutz golius, is Rosh Hashana Memakim. Memakim is Rosh Hashana Mikdash, Mechias Amalek, kibbutz Yisrael, and what was the 4th one? Hamikdash. Melech Hamikdash. Memakim. When you're going to get to that Zimmer, you're screaming out from the depths. That's what's going to bring the gilui of all this beautiful. So with Nachman in the Torah here, he says this aspect is of Emuna. The idea of establishing a Melech is Emuna, like we've been talking about before, and getting rid of Amalek. This is elevating all the sparks that are amongst all the nations, all the lands. So I was just saying, like what they're doing now in Lebanon, destroying. The people that really are running it are Amalek. Now maybe there's nations caught up in it, who've Yishmaelim and Esav, who get caught up with Amalek, God forbid. Our job is with those 35 nations on one side, Yishmael, and the other 35 on the other side, Esav. Our job when we make Kiddush is to take the 70 nations, the iron, and make them to ore, bring the ore of Am Yisrael, and elevate all the nations of the world. That's our job. Bring the ore to the iron. Elevate everything, all the nations, 70 nations of both sides between Yishmael and Esav. But the problem is the Rashis Goyim Amalek. There's Amalek fighting with us, trying to bring them all towards the other side. And what's happening is a massive bureau going on. Clarification. What's clarification? Who is with Yisrael? Who's with Amalek? That's what's going on right now. Who's with the terrorists? Who's with Am Yisrael? It's like simple choice. So the holy war that the soldiers are doing, like the times in the VM, like Nissan Black said to me when we phoned him up with my son, one of the last times he came back, we went on the way to the mikveh, we wanted a toveling, and Mayan is very much into that avoda, toveling and purifying himself, which is a very holy thing to do. Coming out of a war, that's what he wants to do, is constantly tovel himself. Is the idea that Nissan Black said, his feeling is, based on his journey in Yerushalayim, and he's coming here next week, Be'ez Hashem, to share it a bit. So coming and bringing the light of Uman, Rosh Hashana. My son's just there now. They just got VIP passes with Hashem today. So they're going to be hooked up, both of them. And it's funny, I'll show you.
Through you?
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. I said to my family, the Goldsmith Connections. I mean, I worked hard for all those years in that world.
Right,
but,
you deserve, wow.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem, I can't be there myself.
Hold on.
But look, there's one. Mr. Goldsmith, look at that. Dewey. Mr. Goldsmith.
Look how official.
And the other one, Rabbi Goldsmith. Isn't that funny?
Let me see the other one.
That's really, so the guy who did it had a sense of humor.
Look at the past.
And then I just got a Hodil Hashem from the Zayah Shimshon Rabbi.
Look at the American flag.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's very much clear.
Those are Scheiner's guys.
Yeah, Trump all the way, I'm sure. Baruch Hashem. Anyway, we have to get rid of Amalek, and through that we elevate all the sparks amongst the nations, like in Ukraine or wherever Am Yisrael are, by destroying the suffix, by destroying the doubts, by destroying the evil hatred that's going on, and bringing truth and emes, Eish. Eish is Rosh Tevis, emes and Shalom. To bring that burns all the cash, the kina and the sina from these nations. So that's what the Shlach Rosh Tevis cash. Yeah, Eish burns the cash. What's the Mitzvos that's stuck amongst this like materialistic world of trying to pull them away from truth, and we're elevating them by destroying those who hate God forbid.
You showed that to your wife, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so like that's like
That's chizuk. Yeah.
yeah.
That's years of work.
That's a hookup. That's
Yeah, they're sorted out. Thank you, Hashem.
Thank you. Yeah.
I was very happy but I didn't even see that yet. You know what made me really happy?
She was taking care
No,
of
the macher who runs pretty much Uman right now, he's a very private person, but he took, I'm not going to say his name online, or give him credit because he won't want me to. He took a picture of himself and my son and sent it to me. That is a chiddush.
Wow.
That shows trust. That I'm not going to go share it around, and also that he wanted to show love, you know.
Yeah.
And he never said to me, "Why aren't you here?" or anything like that. Because every year he was a big part of me getting there. This year he didn't pressure me, nothing. Just went with the flow. That my sons came instead. Everything's cool. So we said elevating all the sparks of the nations. This is the aspect of the 11 spices of Keturis. Kamuva b'midrash lama nismacha parshas krisis zarsha Amalek parshas mishkalos lama shaba'ava mishkalos hainu machamas Amalek hainu hakar yidua. So this is a concept, very deep concept. But if you go to parshas Kisei in the Muhammad, where it brings the Mechias Amalek, the whole mitzvah of Muhammad dor b'dor, in Parshas Kisei say that that's the one we read on, the Deraisa mitzvah Mechias Amalek. We read it from Devarim, not from Shmos. You could be Yotzi B'diavad like through the Purim Kriya of the Muhammad with Yeshua ben Nun at the end of Parshas B'Shalach. But the real Parsha where it is Parshas Kisei, and what's so much to that Parsha? The whole Parsha, Evan Shlema, the whole weighing, make sure the weights of all your measurements are done honestly. And what's that connecting to? Everything we've been learning, doing Emuna. Remember, you were here a few times when we talked about it. There's been a long Torah going on here. Doing business, what? How we do business?
You have to do business honestly.
Honestly, with Emuna. So we wait. We don't make up amounts. We don't trick people. We're not trying to steal from anyone. I'm doing a booking business. Every time people come to us, each situation we have to weigh up. But we have to be straight with people. We're not trying to rip anyone off. We're trying to be straight with the value of the person that we're offering. Sure, it's the same in your business with your tours and the same with your rentals. You're not trying to rip people off. You're being straight with what the value is and giving them the value. Just being honest with your amounts. I'm just
there's nothing as geschmack as a good rip off. No. I don't mean it before.
But then you're obligated.
I mean what do we call Suffolk at least?
Right.
Meaning.
At least you're being honest, I suppose. Honest in your lack of honesty. No, but the truth is that we all have a Yetzirah for time for money, and we want to feel like we're getting one over one. But remember, we're doing everything Lifnei Hashem. Hashem's watching our business, everything we do.
Also, as if
there's no escape. That's part of Rosh Hashana.
Yeah.
It reminds us of standing in front of Hashem, the King, and that wakes us up.
I was
to our Yerushalayim.
This isn't so connected.
Yeah.
But enough, but not really.
Yeah.
I was watching this this thing on YouTube about all the miracles in the previous wars.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard about the Nixon miracle?
I mean, it was a miracle that he survived.
But hold on, it's not normal.
He did a lot of things.
Hold on. So,
he's complicated.
I think this
he
was
got rid of the gold thing.
I think this was during the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah.
That was with gold. But listen, what happened? So there's 4 tanks fighting off 600 for 24 hours.
Wow.
Okay.
That's Valley of Tears.
Golda picks up the phone and calls him up in the middle of the night.
Wow.
He said when he was a little boy, his mother looked him in the eye and said, one day you are going to be leader and you are going to save the Jewish people.
Wow.
He said when he was maybe 5 years old. So he said as soon as he got that phone call,
he knew this was the one.
He knew just to say yes to whatever.
Amazing.
Isn't that insane?
He said that? That was his testimony?
So
supposedly.
And then the truth is, everyone is in power. Like Putin also. He had the Jews who were good to him, and that's always meant he never became anti-Semitic the way he could have been.
The Rebbe, 40 years ago, there's a lot of talk about what we have to do.
Yeah, about Lebanon. Yeah,
in Lebanon,
for sure.
North.
He prepared.
It was the one area that wasn't taken care of.
And this is third time lucky. We've really got to do it.
Wasn't taken care of in the times
This is
of
based
the Torah.
Shlishi. This is based in Hamikdash. We've got to do it now.
It's crazy stuff.
We go all the way into Beirut to get rid of Amalek. And that elevates all the sparks.
I just heard a story of Robert Kraft, who met him. And so Putin says, oh, like, let me see your,
Yeah.
you have a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
So he goes, yeah, he goes, can I see it?
Oh.
So he takes it off. Oh. Just in his pocket and he keeps walking.
Oh wow.
The craft help. Like, it's got the ring, like, that's it. Like, I say, excuse me, give
Yeah.
me that. Just to do that, that's a...
Yeah, but that's the kesher that Am Yisrael have. We help awaken inside the nations the truth. And suddenly, say someone like Nixon wasn't like obviously the most truthful person, but suddenly, and when it comes down to it, they come alive. Like with Trump, he has a mission right now for the world. He might not be perfect, and no one said he is. But the point is, he's got a certain mission, and he's on the side of truth.
Bibi has a lot of interesting things also, as far as...
But he's on the
like,
side
not,
of truth.
You know, capitalistic,
Yeah.
Moshiach.
Yeah.
There's people that are holding that hold that.
Basically, after
lot
Bibi,
that
it's Moshiach. That's what everyone's saying.
Yeah, right.
There's like, that's the next stop. So that's what we're learning now. Binyan Beis Hamikdash. Hu b'chinas or upon him. Isn't this perfect for Rosh Hashana?
Yeah.
We're getting to Mashiach energy. That's the kind of davening we want to have this year. Not just about ourselves and our own problems. We need to think about crowning the king, the bigger picture. Binyan Beis Hamikdash. Hu b'chinas or upon him. This is the light of the face. Hu b'chinas chidish hamochin. This is awakening the mindset, the mentalities. Remember, we're learning this consciousness. Chidish and neshama, to awaken the soul, renew the soul. And we get into the end of the Sif, Baruch Hashem, perfect timing. And for the end of this year of learning, Baruch Hashem, those who have dare, it's as if they built the Beit Hamikdash in their time. Just by having das. You know what das? My son said to me, he was making a joke, like when you wear the shtreimel in the frat, you're like a dossi, you know, it's like an insult, you know, you dress like a dos, like a religious guy. It's like an insult that people say, and I always say, it's not dos, it's das. I have das, that's what it's about. And my son himself had just said a vort about that, which so he appreciated my joke. He said that Yiddishkeit needs to be, you need to go into Rosh Hashana, you need to go into this time of year with das, awareness, awakeness, freshness. Because when you have das, what are you building? Beit Hamikdash. Beit Hamikdash, which says, Gematria Rosh Hashana. Rosh Hashana is about Megala, the Malchus of Hashem. How do we do that? Through das, through Beit Hamikdash. And the king, yeah. But it's das. It's das. It's not just crown Hashem and then we're a bunch of apes and animals, yeah. The crowning the king, we become elevated because we're his arm, and then by us being his arm with the king, we have it rubs off on us. We become a Melech kohanim, a goy kodesh. We become like kingly, princely people, and this is the kind of energy we want to. Like my son, one of the last phone calls he had with us before going into Lebanon. And please God, we'll speak to him again soon, healthy and well. So far, so good, Bez Hashem. That he's phoned us, and he said that one of the people taking us, I can't say what because it's a very high up person. He said he's got payot and he's bringing 2 chauffeurs with him, one just in case, and he's going to be blowing the chauffeur though. He's like real, like one of these real datim Mohammeds, yeah.
The men pay the higher, maybe like God, maybe he's got 2 falafels all the time. Hanim is like a religious guy.
So that's what I think he's talking about, that guy. So he's going to be bringing a chauffeur, and he says he's going to be blowing Rosh Hashana. There's no stuff he's going to be blowing, no matter what the situation. He's going to be going there like Muhammad Hashem, you know, like he's fighting for Hashem. And the chauffeur needs to be blowing. So my son's very excited. He knows he's going to hear the chauffeur this year. You know, like last year, Simchas Torah, was it 2 years before, he was in Havel Shomel, 3 years, I don't remember now, it's been so long. And they took him on a whole tiyul, and he was worried he wasn't going to get to dance with Sefer Torah, nothing. And then they took him to this old abandoned shul, where there was a Sefer Torah still. Like, it wasn't abandoned Lagamri, but there was no one really there. It was like a rabbi looked after, but it was like pretty much abandoned. But they had a Sefer Torah still, and they just needed someone to get the key. The rabbi came, he was so excited. And a whole million of soldiers, and they danced around. Imagine that kind of Simchas Torah they had in the middle of like these hills somewhere in North Israel. Like this is what this elevates the Mitzvos with the das, the awareness that we're Am Yisrael, we have a purpose. This builds Beit Hamikdash. This is Binyan Beit Hamikdash. And that's like he built the Beit Hamikdash by just us having das. Even if we don't see, God forbid, all these mitzvahs being Makayim, B'Shleimus, all of our mitzvahs are here, and we have Melech Moshiach, and we have Binyan Beit Hamikdash and Mechias Amalek, and all the Mitzvos, everything gets elevated. Even if we don't get to that, God forbid, at least we can work on our das ourselves. And das is as if we built the Beit Hamikdash. So it's kedai to work on this anyway, no matter what. But please God, we will have Melech Moshiach. Amen. And a good Chesima Tova, the last learning, it was Mamish Chizuk. Hashem's with us.